Welcome back, everybody, to Warriors of the Rainbow Spiritual Guidance YouTube channel. As always, my name is Jason, and I will be your friend, your soul family member, your guide, teacher, student. Quick video. I just want to do a quick little bit of wisdom that came on to me about timelines. Okay, so in the collective right now, choices have appeared. Okay, and the choice that you make is essentially to either jump on the highest timeline or the same cycle, right? So it's like, and I've been saying this for a few months, but it's been playing out. I can see it. It's like, are you choosing making choices that are up here, right? Because up here will be a mental timeline. So meaning, if this is what you've always done, right? So if you're always thinking things through instead of feeling things through, well, this is what the timeline's going to be like. So chances are, if you're doing something the same, always the same, right, you're going to end up being on the same timeline. It may be different faces in different places, but it's going to have the same experiences, right? Because there's higher timelines and then there's lower timelines. So this is your higher timeline, right? This is where you're going to get most of the things that your soul actually desires, or the things that are meant for you, right? And up here, if you're overly logical and disconnecting from your heart, what is happening is, because we're in this period where you're supposed to be operating from the heart to get the blessings, right? You're going to repeat the same things. So I woke up this afternoon. I mean, like literally, I fell asleep last night at like 1:30 in the morning, and I didn't wake up till 5 this afternoon. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with me. It's crazy. I can sleep like 16, 17 hours, dude. But it's something happening within me energetically, and I'm being upgraded, and I know this. And I'm blessed right now. I get that time to sleep. You know what I mean? I don't have to stress things out. I'm not in survival mode. I'm in living mode, right? So I'm like, what does it matter? I'm gonna sleep when I can sleep, and I'm gonna eat when I want to eat, and I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And a lot of you guys could be in this type of mode, but it's like it takes surrendering to the process, right, that you're in, and then it takes choosing what resonates here, right? And in the collective right now, there's these timeline options coming up, right? So like, it's like choices. A lot of relationships like are beginning, and some are not getting to begin, right? Because what's happening is you're meeting somebody who's on a different timeline, and instead of intermingling, and there may be an energy match, right? So there's an energy connection, but what's happening is one person hasn't done the full healing, and they're not connected to their heart. And by them not connected to the heart, you can't go any further. It's like hitting a roadblock. You're going to keep hitting that wall because you're on an ascension path. They're on an ascension path too, but they're on a different part of that path, right? And you may have been the choice for them to jump, right, to the higher timelines. And that they may not want to make that choice. And that's okay. Respect that, right? For me personally, I had to disconnect because I was being drained. I was disconnecting myself from my mission and where I was going, and I had to. And my soul inside me was telling me, and I didn't know how to express it, because of the timeline I'm on, which is a little different than her timeline, and that's okay. I'm not, I still send love to her a lot, right? I'm seeing that, and I'm not claiming to be better or anything. That's not what it is. But I can see this, and I'm on this timeline where, so essentially it's like this, right? The world has taught us incorrectly. What the world says is successful is having lots of money, having a secure job, and having all this material things, right? That's what we've been taught to base our success on, or So when you're looking at it in under an ascension, right? People on the ascension and on the physical are different, right? Because the ascension is going through the growth of a soul. It's the soul growth. It's not the world's way of teaching. That means, like, in order to ascend in soul wise, you had to take on a lot to transmute it, right? So you had to not be successful at a job. You had to go through a lot of traumas. You had to go through a lot of pain. You had to go through a lot, right? And that's because you were one that came here for that. You came to really work on the soul purpose ascension, right? Now they have too, but theirs is a different reality of what it is, right? So in that teaching and what is happening is it disconnects us from our heart because you may be a great person and you come across, for you women out there, you'll come across a man who is very materialistic, but you're on a soul journey, right? And you're very spiritual and understanding that materials are dead. There's nothing to them, right? So why work your whole life and pour out your energy to materials that you can't take with you? You know what I mean? It's best to pour out to your soul that you take with you. Because eventually you're going to come into another lifetime where materials are just going to fall at your lap because you've done that soul work. So there's a big difference there, right? And that timeline is what I'm on. I'm on a soul journey timeline. Yes, I'm going to have relationships and things are going to come, but this relationship that I know that's coming, right, is it's not rooted in fear and worry and doubt. It's not rooted in being looked at as like it already, like I easily match energies with people, right? It's not that, because it's the energy that speaks. That's what draws that attraction in. But then what ends up happening is, now this is really where it matters. Once you draw energetically, you are mingling your timelines, right, in the higher reality. So in the fifth dimension, you are actually saying, okay, wow, our energies are connected. Okay, so we'll connect. But then what's going to happen is, and what I've noticed, one party trust, one party is ready for it because one party has done a lot of the work, right? But then the other side of the scale is, if that person hasn't, what will happen is, because your soul is pulling you down this timeline, right? And even though the energies have come together, if that soul's not willing to go with that timeline, it's going to create this friction, and then it's going to pull. It's going to start separating, right? Because you are on this path. So, and you are on this path. And what it is about commingling energies and then continuing the path, right? So sometimes you'll have to take a timeline jump in order to be in a relationship with somebody. You'll have to, right? And for me personally, right, I may not have all these materials and the world's success, right? But I am very high in the spiritual world because it's energy. My energy is very, very high. My calling, what I have come here to do, it's different what the world thinks, right? The world will say, well, a high calling is, to be a musician with all these, fans, and that's a high calling, right? No, it's not. There's not a high calling in the spiritual realm. A high calling in the spiritual realm is to come here and take pain, suffering, and to transmute it into love. There's a big difference. Now, will I have something where I'll have a lot of fans? Yeah, I started this. Of course, I'm going to, right? But I'm here to affect the spiritual realm. I'm here to change the energy. I'm all about the energy. I'm not about the physical. I'm about helping people in their souls and liberate their souls. Now, I'm not smashing on anybody that's about that stuff. That's fine. That's their soul journey and their soul path, right? That's where they want to go. That's what they want in their life. But I can't, because my soul is pulling me to something bigger and better for me, right? Now, I'm noticing the collective that this is happening because I've talked to a lot of people that are like, they're meeting people and then it's not working out. And that's because, the energy matches. There's a connection. I'm not going to lie. There's a huge connection. Like, there could be beautiful things, but it would evolve one either taking the timeline jump or going backwards, right? So down to a lower reality, right? To I can't. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say here. I hope I'm making sense because this is what I was shown this afternoon when I woke up. It just dawned on me what's going on, and it's painful. Oh, it is painful because once there's an energetically connection, right, and there's already a co-mingling of energies, what's going to happen is now there has to be a pull off, and that's some painful, painful stuff, man. It really is, and I don't want it that way, right? It's not that we want it. That's why we commingled energies, right? It's the fact that our energies are commingling is saying that we want that. But then what happens is one wants it, one doesn't, right? Or it's not that one doesn't because their energy is that they're not listening to their soul. They're not listening to their heart. They're listening to the mind. So they're still on that journey, right? We are on our heart and the soul mind. So it's different, right? If the connection came together like this and then you both are following your heart and listening to your soul, it would be different. Because energy's this happened for a reason, right? It does. There is attraction there, and it happens for a reason. It's actually what I really am starting to see. It's trying to help those people, those or us, right? So, I've been thinking about it myself, and like, is it going to help my soul's calling to go down that path? Um, at this time, I can't because I see where that that one's at. It would have to start commingling and matching, like, you know what I mean? If it's like if there's friction, then it's pulling me off because it's one's not willing to go. Essentially, I hope I'm making sense. One's not willing to take that same timeline jump. That doesn't want to match the timelines you're on. There's still um, one's being the weight. There's like weight holding on to it. There's still a repeat of a cycle going on, right? And now it's just dawned on me again. Like, okay, so if that's the case, whatever. I will think about that more. But yeah, so it's timelines. That's the key to this message was timelines, right? So I'm on a soul journey to trust myself, my soul, my heart. I lead with my heart. I do not lead with my mind. I use my mind, but when it comes down to it, I make my decisions based on feelings, because that's what you're supposed to do. Really, in my experience, the mind's supposed to be what gets you, um, works the hands and things like that in life, but the feelings are what guides you. Your heart is what guides you, right? So um, that's the point. So I hope this brought some clarity to some of the situations that you guys are going through. Um, Comment in the comment box if this is like resonating with you. If I do get some more wisdom on this later on, I will also share. Now, I didn't say this to offend anybody, and I don't want that to come off that way. I'm using this, I use all my experiences as an opportunity to teach, right? Because as I look through everything and I feel and I look through, on a higher perspective, I see things for what they really are. Now, if you're in a situation where you're connected with somebody and it's painful to disconnect, um, it's not about right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. It's about what your soul is desiring, right? So, again, I'm desiring an emotional, physical, and spiritual connection, right? And so if my emotional needs are not being met, even though there's an energetic connection, I can't, because there's obviously a reason why I want that, right? My soul wants that for me, right? And I feel that. I can't go down a path that doesn't provide that, right? So it has to be provided. All those have to be provided. That's the timeline I'm on, right? So it has to be the threefold everything, right? Mind, body, spirit. It has to be, because that's the path I'm on. Now, if someone's disconnected from their heart, it's mind and spirit, not body, or vice versa, mind and body, not spirit. You know what I mean? So I'm on a threefold journey. I'm hoping you guys are too, and I hope this really does bring some clarity and wisdom. Um, I'm in a introspection, observing state of being. I observe and I try to put everything into understanding, so understanding, so I can fully see and understand what's going on within me and around me. Because as within, so without, right? So I see why it's going on in my situation, but since I don't know the other person's whole existence, I can only say what I have and what I see. So maybe me and her will connect again and we can discuss this. But anyways, this is what I see, and I want to share this with you guys. So this is about timelines and commingling energy. So I don't know what I'll name it. Probably timelines and energy. But all right, guys, sending you so much love, light. Namaste.